Hello. I'm going to use this valuable time to put back my eyelashes I wore the other day. I had tweezers. Oh, they're somewhere else. Whatever. Hi. Hello. Hi, Cass. There's a gnat in here. It's not annoying. Oh, wow. Jumping right in with the questions, Andrew. Best Lunar Chronicles book / character. I love Scarlet, the book, which is like unpopular opinion, a lot. So I think Scarlet's my favorite character. I don't know. I just really liked like her. It's been so long since I've read those though that like I've talked about this before, but the Lunar Chronicles books are like so forgettable to me. Like I loved them when I was reading them. They were just like, you know, cotton candy wonderfulness, and I was like very invested, and then I stopped reading them and I'm like, I don't care. You know, like it's just and it was even like that when I was reading the series. Like it wasn't even like, oh, when the series was coming out I was so invested. It's just been like, no, I just like I would stop reading those books and it'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore. In a way that doesn't quite happen with other books for me. Yeah, I haven't read anything else by her. Like I love, hi Julie, I love her premises. I don't even know what like the premises, whatever, the plural for premise. I love her premise, but like, I washed my hands just now, by the way. I just don't like care a ton. Hi Abigail, hi Brenna. I'm not doing this for any particular reason. So I am putting on a little bit of makeup just because I'm like, I don't know what else to do. Is that really bright and annoying? I feel like it is. I'm putting on some like no makeup because I think I'm gonna do like an Instagram TV video thing. Hi Nicole, hi Natalie. I feel like it's so dark when it's like that. Okay. But yeah, I just basically like want to hop on here and chit chat. Hello, Rachel. And yeah. Hi, Natalia. Have you seen the new Lunar Chronicles book covers? I have, and I'm trying to think of them right now in my head. And I feel like I was kind of like, I don't think I like them that much. Like, they're a little more artsy. They almost look like anime-ish, right? I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I looked at them and I was like, meh, like they're prettier, but you know, whatever. I don't know why I'm looking at my makeup as if it's like important. But isn't it crazy how good A Court of Mist and Fury was and how bad the first and third book was? Yeah, I was thinking about that today, actually. That like Akamath is the only book in that series that has rights, you know, which is really interesting. Someone asked if I'm watching anything interesting right now, I think was the question. I have watched Frozen 2 twice in the last few days, which I hadn't seen it before. And I'm watching The Mandalorian. I'm 3 episodes in, but I kind of work on one series at a time. So I'm going to finish The Mandalorian, and then kind of go from there. Thoughts on the new covers for Grisha? Have there been any new covers since like the new covers that came out a couple of years ago? Because like I prefer the original covers, and I have all the books in the original covers. But the new covers are like fine, but I don't plan on like collecting them or anything. Frozen 2 is like, I tweeted about this, but Frozen 2 is so much better than Frozen 1. Like so much better. So that was interesting because I wasn't really expecting that because I don't really care for Frozen 1. I've only ever seen it like once. Are you excited for The Girl in the Stars? Yes. I have that in my most anticipated books thing. Oh, that's a long comment. Doreen China Gold. Who do you think Matthew is in love with? Because I'm convinced that it's James and not Cordelia. I don't know. I kind of think it's Cordelia, but who knows? The special edition covers for Six of Crows. Thoughts? I feel like I'm trying to think of them. I don't care. Okay, I've talked about this a little bit before. I always say that, like, in case you guys have heard me repeat things. I don't care about special edition covers. Like, I know a lot of people are, like, so hyped for special editions, and there's a few exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, I'm just kind of like, I don't care that much. Like, I don't care to collect special editions. Like, I don't care. So I don't really pay attention when they release a special edition because if I already own it, then I don't plan on buying a special edition. I haven't seen, so Rachel, for me, it's on Disney Plus in America now. Frozen 2 is, so I don't know when it's going to be in other countries. Are you listening to any podcasts? I've kind of let my podcasts like backlog a bit, I think because I'm listening to more audiobooks right now. And it kind of is an either or situation for me. So I have a ton of podcasts on like backlog. My favorite podcast is Forever 35. But yeah, I have a couple of like plant podcasts and things. I just haven't been podcasting recently. Where to start with Sanderson? I personally started with Original Mistborn, but he has on his website the like recommended order based on what you want out of it, kind of a couple different options. So someone asked what kind of YouTubers I watch outside of BookTube. I actually watch primarily not BookTube content. I think because I'm trying to get my TBR to 0 now, not just down. Now I'm going for 0 because I like to challenge myself under times of extreme stress. So I'm trying to get it down to 0. So I'm not watching a ton of BookTubers because y'all pressure me by talking about these amazing books, and then I want to buy them, and I don't want to do that right now. So I'm not watching a ton of BookTube content, but I watch The Financial Diet, which is like a financial channel. I watch Smoky Glow, who is a like makeup and beauty channel, but also does commentary on makeup and beauty stuff. I watch Tiffany Ferg, who does internet analysis commentary on like internet stuff. You'd have to go and see the topics, but she does like a ton of stuff, which is really great. Those are like my main three I can count. Non-BookTube related content. I feel like I'm always clicking on their channels, and what's great is Smoky Glow uploads like 4 or 5 times a week, so I'm like, hell yeah. But yeah, those are my main people I watch, and then I just kind of like do a smattering of everyone else that I'm like subscribed to as people come out with videos. Oh, Samantha Ravndal, who's a beauty YouTuber, I also watch. And then what's her name? Nappy Headed Jojoba, who is kind of like a commentary channel. I watch a lot of commentary channels, so I like that. I wish that I could do like, I wish that there was like BookTube commentary, but the thing with commentary channels is that a lot of them will comment on bigger internet celebrities, like within their thing, like, you know, beauty gurus that have like 8 million subscribers or whatever. And the divide between the biggest booktubers and smaller booktubers is actually not that large. So I feel like, and I know people that I would maybe talk about. So it's like, and we don't really have scandals either. Like, I mean, there's people that like don't like each other, I guess, but like we don't really have like scandals to like comment on. Or at least we haven't like recently, really. Like there's really not been like a booktuber that's like been super shitty. I don't know. I feel like the potential to do commentary content on BookTube is like not there, but I love commentary content. Ugh. The palette I use the most is this one. It's the KVD Beauty, because it's been changed because Kat Von D is no longer involved in the brand at all, so now I can support the brand again. The KVD Beauty Metal Matte palette, but this was a limited edition palette. I wear a lot of this. I also do the original Jaclyn Hill palette, but Jaclyn Hill's kind of a trash can too. I have a lot of fucking makeup from people who turned into, or always were, but it was revealed, shitty people. So yeah, the Jaclyn Hill palette, like the original one, is great, but I've also watched commentary videos on how the formula is no longer the same in newer palettes. The fuck? So these are my like 2 favorite, and then I do use a lot of like the Urban Decay Naked palettes, which so far Urban Decay I don't think has done anything super shitty. Could fool me though, because I'm sure they'll do something. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's ridiculous. I hate when it happens with... there's so much makeup that I bought over the years that like they've turned into pieces of shit, and I'm just like, why though? Just mind your business and make makeup. Like, oh my god. So yeah, I just want to do like a brown all over lid color right now. So I don't know, I'm like looking at all of my palettes, but all of them have like a matte brown that I could use. So Urban Decay Honey palette. Man, I haven't even paid attention to palettes coming out. Favorite series length? I mean, it kind of depends. Like, honestly, I love a good trilogy, man. You know, I just do. But also, like, I love the expansive, like, 5-6 book series things that happen. So it just kind of depends on the series. So yeah. Favorite anime? Oh man, I talk about this like occasionally on lives. I feel like people ask me about anime. I have not watched any anime that's like current, but when I was younger, I watched the Tenchi animes. So I watched Tenchi in Tokyo and Tenchi Universe, and I loved them. I also watched the original Sailor Moon. I watched a little bit of Cardcaptor Sakura, like original. Again, I don't know if it's like come back. I watched Cowboy Bebop. I watched Bleach. Bleach was the only one I watched with subtitles. That was like the last anime I watched when I was like serious. So I watched it with subtitles. And yeah, that was a fun time. Do you still want a tattoo? In theory, I want a tattoo, but I get keloid scars, which are like raised scars. So I'm not sure I can get one. And I would hate to pay like a ton of money for a tattoo and then have it look like fucking garbage because my skin scars up. So yay. What are you currently reading? I just finished a couple of books, but I'm currently reading The Immortalists on audiobook, and I'm reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown on ebook. Who do you usually romance in Mass Effect? Garrus? Yes. When I replay Mass Effect, which I do all the fucking time, and I'm currently replaying, what I typically do is in the first game I romance Liara, because she's one of the only options, but I love her. And then the second game I romance Garrus, and the third game I romance Garrus. In my head, I would love to do a all-through Liara romance, but my boyfriend's right there, and I'm just like... I love him so much. I also really love Thane. Honestly, if I could make my shepherd in a polyamorous, very loving relationship with Liara, Thane, and Garrus, like, I honestly would do that. And I don't think any of them would mind. So, because Thane's also my boyfriend. Oh, I love Thane so much. I love them. I love so many of them so much. Did you ever finish The Vampire Diaries? And if not, do you have plans to? I haven't finished it. I've gotten halfway through season 5. I do have plans to finish it, again in theory. The Vampire Diaries hurt me in my early 20s. My first Tumblr was a Vampire Diaries fan Tumblr, Team Damon, and I was obsessed with it. And I don't know if I can go through that again. I really don't know if I can go through that again. But I kind of want to like rewatch from the beginning. Maybe not from season 1 because they're such babies in season 1. And the things they're worried about in season 1 are like not even a factor later on. And stuff just gets like retconned and like it's just a mess. But I love it so much. So I just really do want to finish it. I know a lot of the spoilers for the series, but part of me deeply wants to finish it. So I will at some point. But I have all these other series I want to read before I finish it. Will you read more Sarah J. Maas? Maybe. Potentially. I'm not opposed to reading Crescent City, but like it's not on my radar for reading like literally anytime soon. Like I have so many books that I want to read that are on my shelf or that I want to read after I get my TBR down to 0. Oh my God. So I don't really want to read Crescent City that I like have minimal interest in. I can see myself being somebody that reads it like 3 years after it comes out. And talking about it then. I do that with a lot of like random books. Honestly, why am I even holding makeup? I'm not even putting it on. Longest book you want to read during quarantine? Well, you know what? What's the longest book I have on my shelf right now? I think most of my books that are long at this point on my TBR, physically TBR, are in like the 500 to 600 range. I read Way of Kings, so that's off my shelf. And I don't own Words of Radiance yet. So the longest thing that I currently own that I plan on reading, because the longest thing I currently own that I don't plan on reading yet is The Wise Man's Fear. But I'm not reading that until the 3rd book is announced, if that ever happens. So, yeah. That's the longest book. And who knows how long we'll be stuck inside. Have you read Terry Pratchett? I haven't, and I don't really have an interest. I respect the series and stuff that he has created, and he seems like a very cool dude, and I loved Good Omens, the show. But I feel like his level of, like, eccentricity, I don't really like a ton. From what I've seen. So I'm not super interested in his series. Thoughts on Neil Gaiman? I really like Neil Gaiman's stuff. I haven't read all of it that he's written. I've read Graveyard Book, American Gods, Ocean at the End of the Lane, Stardust. Is that it? I feel like I've read one other thing. And I like it. And I really like his stuff on audio, especially if he reads it. It's good. It's good. Should I put makeup on my face? I don't know, man. Do you think you'll review Ruthless Gods when you read it? Yes, I will. I was actually thinking about how I might read it, like, probably May, which is crazy because I've had an arc of it. But, like, I just don't want to be scared, y'all. And there's, like, a bunch of body horror and shit in there, which is, like, not my... Body horror isn't my biggest trigger, but body horror can make me uncomfortable, which then triggers feelings of anxiety, which then my brain will be like, you're anxious, let's think anxious thoughts. So then it will, like, actually trigger my anxiety. So I'm kind of like a little leery of it. Have you read American Gods? Yes, I read that on audiobook. I just read The Night Circus because of you in these troubled times, and honestly, I can die now. I know. I kind of feel like just rereading that book. When my TBR gets to 0, I'll probably reread that book again. Because it's just so fucking good. Or listen to it on audio. But I feel like the audiobook is like 5 million years checked out in my library. So, and I actually have library cards to 3 different libraries right now. Someone asked earlier if I was still in Delaware. No, thank fucking God. I'm back in Illinois because I would probably be dying if I was in Delaware legitimately because of how our hospital is handling this whole coronavirus thing. It's ridiculous. So I'm so glad I'm not there. Holy crap. So yeah, I'm not there, but I have a library card to my Delaware library. I have a library card to the Philadelphia library, the free library, and then I have a library card to my current library in Illinois. And yet there's wait times on like almost everything that are like significant. Even before this happened, where like, you know, not everyone was stuck inside. The wait times on stuff is just like a lot. So I'm looking at, I almost feel like I want to do something like crazy, but I'm like, no, because if I do something really fun, I want to put it on a video, and I'm not filming today. But I'm like, should I do some other cool all over lid shade? No. Get it together. You're just doing a normal lid shade. Yeah, okay. I got some crazy ideas in my head there for a second. This is my face waiting for more questions to come in. Does your library have Hoopla? It does. My current library has Hoopla, and then my old libraries have Libby. So Hoopla is nicer. I like it way more, but my current library doesn't have like the largest selection of stuff. I don't know. It just has like a lot of really random things. A ton of romance, which is fine. But the romance even that they have is like random stuff. Like it's not even all stuff. Like they have a lot of the more popular romance books on audio, and I don't really like listening to romance on audio. I know a lot of people do. I just don't tend to like it. It makes it even more awkward to listen to sex scenes when you're like listening to them. So I don't tend to like that. So I just want them on ebook. But then they only have like a few authors on ebook. It's just really weird. Oh my God, the book Twitter conversation about piracy is like, I'm very, so part of me is like, thank fucking God someone's talking about something else besides everything going on in the world right now, because it's just a break. But I'm also like, how are we arguing about the fact that like piracy is stealing? Like I'm like, it's in the pirates steal things. Piracy is stealing. It's stealing. So I just don't get it. And I think this is a thing that like is because a lot of the general public doesn't know how publishing works. I think the general public and general readership honestly think that all authors make a gajillion dollars, and they don't. I actually saw something about how like the average, statistically, people who are pirating content of any kind tend to be more wealthy than authors. So it's just like, what are you doing? And even like, I just can't get behind the argument that like, well, I can't afford it and this is my way of supporting you. But I'm like, but you're not supporting them. Because it's not even like a lot of these general readers have like the reach to then be like, I read this book and I loved it, so now I'm going to tell like a ton of people about it. So it's like, you're not really doing, like, I don't get how people are arguing about it. Like, I really don't. I'm like, you're really gonna argue that it's like fine to steal things? Really? I don't know. I just feel like it's stupid. Yes, I will do a discussion for the Queen of the Tierling, like the last book, Fate of the Tierling, when I do read it, which will probably be. I would love to get to my TBR to 0 by the end of June, so it could be like May, honestly. Wouldn't that be fucking wild? Oh my god. I don't know. I do have a lot of books that are like fairly large on my TBR though, but I'm also like, you got the time. Hey, hey. Someone said that Tally should make an appearance. She's back on my bed. It's so cute. How many books are on your TBR? Right now, if I finish the 2 books I'm currently reading, I'll have 27, I think, on my TBR. So that's exciting. And then next month, I plan on reading like 10 books. So it'll get way down. Someone mentioned it's harder to get books if you don't live in the US. I get that. But at the same time, I'm also like, okay, stealing's still not okay though. Like, this is hard for me to get, therefore I want to steal it. Like, it's hard for me to get a Rolex. It's hard for me, like, I don't have access to Rolexes, like Rolexes, there's not a store nearby. So, like, I'm not trying to be like a dick about it, but I'm also just kind of like, that's still not an excuse to steal it. Like, it's hard for me to have access to some plants that I really like, and I really want them, but it's hard for me to have access to them in my country. Do I steal them? Like, it just, compare it to something that's not digital, and I'm just like, do you guys think it's less, that the rules don't apply because it's a digital medium? I don't. Same thing with art. Like, yeah, like, it's still stealing. So if you can't get some American book in your country, then read more from local authors. Like, I just can't, I don't know. It's stealing. Yeah, it's stealing. So how do you feel about pirating movies? It's stealing. Like, oh, I'm all for stealing college textbooks. Fuck that. That's a whole industry that's like separate. Pirate those fucking textbooks, man. But yeah, like stealing novels, movies, TV shows, anything, that's stealing. College textbooks are like a totally different thing because of how they hike up the prices and how they will like make new versions that change a word and then they charge $200 for it. I'm more for like I read in my textbooks, and so like that's, but it's the college industrial complex. I'm a little more okay in that case because that's fucked up. But movies, TV shows, art, novels. No. Have you read The Expanse? I've read the first 2 books. What did you study in college? I got a double majored in psychology and family studies, which was our social work degree. So I got 2 undergraduate degrees, and then my master's was in social work. Same, yeah. I don't like Amazon either, but yeah, there's a lot more access to like ebooks and stuff through them than physical copies. So there's a lot more choice. Top 5 adult epic fantasies for people who don't read adult epic fantasy that much. That's a hard question. I don't know if I can say. It's really hard for me on these lives to recommend books because when I do recommendation videos, I go down and like look at my books. So when you ask me for a recommendation, I'm like, I've forgotten everything that I've ever read in my life. Unless it's like the really big stuff. Yeah, the whole thing about making a living off the arts when people tend to steal that stuff the most. Like, it is fucked up. And people do underestimate how much time it takes someone to make things, like how much time it takes someone to write, how much time it takes someone to draw and do any kind of art, like all that. Any tips for cutting down on screen time? I personally, even before this, I have been, since like January, limiting myself with the screen time app to half an hour on Twitter. And then once it goes off, I delete it from my phone. So when do you plan on reading Kingsbane and Shorefall? Probably both of those will be May because my April TBR is accounted for with the owls. How are you keeping up with your fabulous nails during quarantine? I'm not. They're getting kind of grown out. I was supposed to have an appointment this week, but obviously it's not going to happen. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen when they start getting like so grown out and just ridiculous. I'm just kind of trying not to think about it. Between that and my hair, I can trim my own hair. That's possible. But yeah. I feel like my parents are watching Braveheart. They're playing bagpipes, so it must be Braveheart, right? I think it is Braveheart. Anyway, I love that movie. Yeah, I'm also nervous about there being just like, once we can go out in public, which who knows when that's going to be, it's like there's going to be just so much wait time for any other kind of medical appointment, for nails, for hair, for anything. I'm just like, whew. Marvel or DC? Probably Marvel, just because I'm more invested in Marvel. I mean, I've watched all the Marvel movies except for the 2 Ant-Mans. Sorry. Where DC, the movies are like not super great. But I do love Harley Quinn and I do love Wonder Woman a lot. So yeah, but of all of them, I'm more invested in Marvel. I also feel like I need to learn how to do my own nails. I feel like I need to get like a drill and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that's sensible, but how do you feel about audiobooks? I read a lot of them. I usually have one going at all times. So there's like 10 comments at once. Have you seen the new Emma? I have not seen the new Emma yet, but I really want to watch it. I've been thinking about buying that movie or like, I guess renting, but even like the digital rentals are like kind of expensive, but I kind of want to rent the new Emma and rent Little Women, because those are 2 movies that I didn't get to see in theaters. Oh yeah, I didn't even factor in Marvel versus DC TV. I don't really watch any Marvel or DC TV. See, I'm not really interested in dip nails though. I do have an acrylic nail thing already, the UV light thing. I already have that from like years ago. But yeah, I don't know if I can do everything else. How did you feel about The Rise of Skywalker if you watched it? I did, and it was so awful. For so many reasons. I think I did a Instagram live, I want to say, on that. Not an Instagram live. I did an Instagram story, I think. I should have saved it. I just felt like it wasn't like a cohesive arc between the 3 movies, like at all. Like Rise of Skywalker was like doing its own thing, just like hanging out up here, and I'm like, what? Why though? So I just feel like it was kind of a waste of the 3 movies, to be honest. I'm glad I saw it just so that I know like how bad it is, but I see even the trailers for it on TV now that's like, own it in DVD and Blu-ray, and I'm like, fuck you. No. I will probably never rewatch that. I don't know. It's bad. It's bad. I just keep adding eyeshadow. Did you hear about the controversy with the new Star Wars? Like the Star Wars after, I'm just fucking around now. Like the Star Wars after these Star Wars? Or the most recent Star Wars? Have you ever been into K-pop? No, but I did listen to Queen by someone. Who is that? Who is that by? Are you planning on dyeing your hair? Not anytime soon. What time is it in America? 5 o'clock. Well, in my part of America. America has like 4 time zones. I'm just gonna do this. This is gonna be the most random live I've ever done because I have no goals for it. I'm just gonna this is not how you blend your eyeshadow, by the way. I liked the new trilogy up until Rise of Skywalker. Like, I was fine with the first 2. That's fine. Those were fine. Yeah, honestly, just wasting my time. Yeah, I saw that. The new trilogy had like different writers and different directors and stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the director of Rise of Skywalker was just like, I just want to like ruin everything that the director from the second movie did. I'm like, why? What do you use to edit videos and make thumbnails? Thumbnails is PicMonkey, and editing videos I use Adobe Elements. Adobe Elements, Adobe Pro Elements. It's like a very much cheaper version of Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere Elements. It's a cheaper version of Adobe Premiere Pro. So I use that, but I think during this time, I will try to use a free trial of Final Cut Pro and see if I can learn it, because I have the time and I hate learning new software, but I've used the same software for like 5 years and I want to step up my game. And if I want to do this, I should do it now before, you know, I start having a life again, which who knows when that will happen. So, someone asked if I'd be willing to get into K-pop. I'm not opposed to K-pop, but I'm not particularly drawn to it either. I like really angsty music, and I know that like K-pop can be, but also I don't understand Korean. So I listen to a different theme. I don't really listen to pop music. I listen to like alternative music. So I don't really feel like I'll get on with it. I get on with it for like a little bit. I also really liked the League of Legends fake K-pop thing that they did. That was fun. I do like Lana Del Rey. Her like original album a lot more. So okay. Randomly getting the hiccups, I guess. How are you working out whilst indoors? I know you like weightlifting. Well, I'm not doing any kind of like lifting. I've been doing yoga like twice a week, but it's been hard because my family's mostly home. My dad still works because he works for a pharmacy and he drives medicine to people, but which is important right now. But basically, I have to schedule yoga sessions for when my mom leaves to go for a walk. Because I do yoga in the living room, because I only have a small strip of room in my bedroom right here that I could actually do any kind of yoga in, and it's not going to work because you need more room than that. So I have to do it out in the living room. So I do yoga like twice a week, and I use Yoga with Adriene videos because she's my favorite. She's the only one that I'll use. So yeah, that's what I do. And then I walk like at least 5 days a week. JT, if you don't stop commenting weird shit, I'm gonna block you. So either you stay and like contribute, because I'm not going to Google whatever it is you're asking me to Google. I'm just not going to. Yeah, Yoga with Adriene's wonderful. Thank you, JT. Look at that. So easy. Oh, honey, you said you'd stop and then you didn't. Look at, you're getting put in a timeout. There you go. Do you like Jeffree Star makeup? So I love his makeup, but I don't buy it anymore because he's a shitty person. Ugh, damn it. Like, why are they like this? But his liquid lipsticks are like honestly some of the best. And I'm mad about it. But I just bought Black Moon Cosmetics. I wore this in my most recent video. So these are good so far. Have you ever played Skyrim? Of course I have, but I've never finished it. I've been playing Skyrim since 2013, and I have yet to finish either of the main storylines because whenever I play, I just end up getting sucked into like grave sites and necromancer battles and vampires and dumb shit for hours, and then I bore myself, and then I stop playing. So yeah, my favorite RPG, like fantasy RPGs, are probably like Dragon Age. So yeah, I like that a lot. And also like, I mean, would you consider Final Fantasy a fantasy RPG? It's almost like a fantasy sci-fi RPG. Have you played The Witcher? Witcher 3? Yes. And it's good. That is my other favorite. Why do I always forget about The Witcher? Because in my head it was like a movie. Because I love it so much. So I think the reason I haven't played Diablo is because the name, I'm like, are there demons in it? Like, I get that, like, there are in Dragon Age. And Dragon Age, honestly, I haven't played Dragon Age, like, Origins and 2 in a while because it's spoopy. I just don't want anything, like, super scary with my RPGs. Which is interesting because, like, they all have that element. Like, even The Witcher is, like, kind of scary. But I wouldn't play The Witcher right now with my anxiety. My anxiety hasn't been, like, that bad lately. But, yeah, like, final bosses, like, I'm just... They just scare me. Like, Final Fantasy doesn't scare me. I actually need to finish Final Fantasy 15, which is not a very fun game. Have you played Animal Crossing? I have not played Animal Crossing, because I don't have a Switch, but part of me wants to buy a Switch. But I have a lot of PlayStation 4 games I still need to play, so I really can't justify it to myself. What I really want to play right now is The Sims, but I don't have a computer that would allow me to. So, is it sad that I bought the Mass Effect trilogy on PC because I missed it and just felt like replaying it? Absolutely not. I replay that game all the time. The trilogy, I replay it all the time. Like, I'm gonna finish 3 soon, and then probably by the end of the year, I mean, I have a lot of games to catch up on, so maybe not, but, like, it wouldn't be unrealistic for me to start playing Mass Effect 1 again by, like, the end of this year. It's just what I do. And then I take, like, a year to play each game because I don't play them very frequently, and I just have them, like, running in the background at all times of my life. The background of my life. Yeah, I would love to play Sims right now. But I'll play that more so than Animal Crossing. Although I do like the, like, community aspect of Animal Crossing, but I'm not going to pay, like, $200 for a new system when I have, like, at least 8 PlayStation 4 games to catch up on because I keep playing Mass Effect. So... Yes? I don't know. What do you want for supper?
I was just asking.
I don't know. What do you guys want for supper? There's people on the internet.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll wait.
Well, I don't know. I just ate a bagel. A bagel.
Okay. I'll see what he wants. Maybe he can just have something different.
Yeah.
I don't know what he wants. Okay.
Okay. I'll eat whatever maybe you have.
Okay.
Okay. We don't have... Well, we do have ravioli. Which PS4 games do you have on backlog? I want to play Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey. I own Odyssey. I need to finish Final Fantasy 15. I want to play God of War, the most recent God of War. I want to play Outer Worlds. Those are the main ones. Oh, Huevos Rancheros. Don't even. If you could only have one system, what would it be? PlayStation. Like, I only ever have PlayStations, and I would have PlayStation 4. That's just... I'm a PlayStation girl, what can I say? So yeah, super random. How are your animals? They're good. Tally's here with me, and then the cats live next door with my neighbor. And I go and see them once a week when she goes to see her boyfriend, because I haven't inquired, because it's not quite my business, if she's social distancing, which I don't think she is, unless both her and her boyfriend are, like, quarantining themselves during the week and then only see each other. So I just go see her, like, my cats when she's gone. I do live in Illinois. Currently. I'm so glad that I'm not in Delaware. Bye, Julie. Why do I keep blending this? Let's do this. I don't even know why I'm putting makeup on my face. Because I was going to film a video, like, in front of the natural light for, like, an Instagram TV. But I'll probably just stay on here with you guys forever. And then the light will be gone. How come your cats are living with your neighbor? My mom's allergic. Like, really allergic to cats. So my neighbor has, like, cat heaven over there. Like, all of her decorations are cat decorations. She has, like, all this cat furniture. She has, like, cat grass for them to eat. She has so many cat toys. She has, like, probably 12 litter boxes in her whole house. It's just cat heaven. So they're happy over there. They're like literally right next door. So I go and see them. And it works out for everybody because I couldn't live here if I had my cats because my mom would die. So, and she hates the fur, but that's not the reason. Have you ever done cosplays of your favorite video game characters? I haven't, but I deeply want to do like multiple cosplays. Like I would love to do a Yennefer. I would love to do a Fang from Final Fantasy 13. I would love to do a Shepherd. Don't even get me started on how much I would love to do a Shepherd, but the cost required for a Shepherd cosplay, because I would want to do the armor, is astronomical. I don't think I'd want to like build the armor myself. Like I just there's so many things I deeply want to cosplay, but I don't have the creative energy to pour into cosplaying. I don't sew. The amount of skills I would have to learn to cosplay at the level that I want to cosplay is just not attainable at this point. It's just not. I used to cosplay original characters a while ago because I used to go to steampunk conventions. So I did have original character assassin that I would cosplay, and I have most of the pieces of the outfit still. But even that, I didn't get a completed outfit, until like, I still don't have a completed outfit, and I've since stopped cosplaying that. So, and I was working on that like cosplay for like a couple of years. It just is a lot. Like if you cosplay, that's like all you do. I mean, that's not all you do, but like so much artistic, creative energy goes into cosplaying. Favorite steampunk book? I really like the Solus Parasol Protectorate series. I've only read the first book. But I want to read like the whole series. I really like those. And then there's a lot of like comics that kind of have like steampunk elements. So yeah, building armor is just like, it takes a long fucking time. So steampunk, Google it, is like the best, because it's basically if we pursued steam technology instead of electricity more so. And so all of the inventions and stuff that we have are based off of steam more so than anything else. That's kind of the gist of it. Basically, like the movie Wild Wild West is steampunk. What other ones? Trying to think. Everything goes out of my brain when I think of like what. The music video, the best steampunk media, in my opinion, is the music video for Mona Lisa by Panic at the Disco. And that is one of the reasons that I got into steampunk, because I saw that music video and I was like, holy shit. So go watch the music video. It's the best. It's my favorite. I was going to put like powder foundation on, but I'm not even going to. Fuck it. I also might not even finish my makeup. I don't know. I feel kind of weird just having eyeshadow on. When do you plan to read Realm of Ash? I bought the 2 books because of you. Probably like anything that I really want to read that is not already on my April TBR for the Magical Readathon, I'll probably read in May. So it'll be like May or June. I do want to get my TBR down to 0. So honestly, any book that I have my TBR that I've mentioned, I will be reading by June, hopefully. By the end of June. That's the goal. That's the goal I set for myself. I always have Panic at the Disco feelings. They're one of my favorites. I don't listen to their new stuff so much. Have I read Webtoon? I've read Lore Olympus. I'm not caught up. I always make, like, I catch up and then I wait like 10 episodes and then catch up again. So I'm caught up to like, I want to say like episode 70 or 80 something. It's been like over a month since I read it. Hi, just started watching. How are you taking the quarantine? It's hit and miss. I cried in the shower for like 10 minutes last night. Just being real. Like some day, like I'm mostly fine. Because I'm with my family and like whatever. But sometimes I get very overwhelmed by it. And the fact that like, I think what's really hard, and I was talking to some friends about this, is that it's hard to imagine, like fantasize about doing stuff like post-quarantine and like post-social distancing. Because we don't really know what the world's gonna look like. Right? So like, it's hard, like I want to be like, you know, oh, I can't wait to like go out and see friends and travel and whatever, but like I don't know when that's gonna look normal or if it's ever gonna look normal again, because the way that we do things now will likely change from this. So it's kind of just like, I can't envision anything because the world will be different. So yeah, that makes it kind of hard, because usually when I'm in tough situations, I fantasize about like what life is going to look like. Because usually you can do that because you know how things work. Yeah, the implications for the social work fields is immense post-virus. Absolutely. So I'm just kind of like, holy shit. And also, I work in hospitals, and part of me is like, I don't know if I want to work in a hospital, like, even post-virus. Like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. Because right now, literally, if I was still working at my job in hospice back at the hospital, like, I would probably be infected because of how they're handling things. Just not to get, like, too into it because I don't work there anymore, but, like, it's not good. I'm kind of like, I just kind of want, honestly, it's made me think about, like, how do I get a job that allows me to potentially work from home? Because, like, my jobs that I've had are not, or the jobs that I really like with medical social work are not work from home jobs. So, yeah, just kind of like, ugh. So just something to think about. I mean, got time to think about it. But yeah, most days I'm like kind of okay. But just kind of depends. It goes in waves. Frozen 2 thoughts. It's better than Frozen 1. The 2 songs, Into the Unknown and starts with an S. I've been playing it on repeat. The one that she sings in the glacier is the best song. Show Yourself is the best song in the Frozen franchise. So I love it. Oh God, going to school for, virology or epidemiology or anything is just like, wow. What do you do to keep busy? Not necessarily keeping busy. So I do have like a habit tracker app now that I've been using just to kind of be like, these are some habits that I want to build. But I do lose chunks of time during the day where I'm just like, that's not an unpopular opinion. Hold on, there was an opinion. I think Elsa is ace and homoromantic. So I think she's asexual and she likes girls. I think that what's her name? Honey Marin's her girlfriend, but she's ace. That's just what I think. What was I answering? I was just answering another question, and then I got really distracted because I have like very strong opinions. Oh, what do you do to keep busy? So yeah, I have certain like hobbies, but I'm not sticking to a schedule because it's impossible to stick to a schedule for me. So like I'm reading at least an hour a day. I try to do it in like 2 half-hour chunks. I'm playing some video games on the days I feel like it. I'm like filming, doing this kind of stuff, all of that. Was it very difficult to get all of your requirements to become a social worker? I wouldn't say it's very difficult. It is just kind of like time consuming. I didn't go back to grad school until I was 25. So you being 26 is like not a huge deal. You can also get social work jobs as an undergrad or having just a bachelor's. But they're just more limited. Like with a social work degree, you kind of have to have a master's because then you can do like literally anything in the social work field for the most part. So yeah, I say if you want to go back for it, go back for it. But just know it's gonna be like grad school just kind of sucks. And then you get over it, and it's like it never happened. I mean, it's not like it never happened. I still have like about grad school, but once it's over, and you're done. And then you have to get like supervision hours, and it just takes some time. But I wouldn't say it's hard. Have you seen Ghost Bride on Netflix? No, but anything with the word ghost in it sounds scary, so I don't watch anything scary. That is my opinion. I kind of want to put like this highlighter all over my face. This is a Jeffree Star highlighter. Again, I haven't bought from him since like 2014 or 2015. Look at how big it is. I will never, like I've put, I don't know if you can even see, that's the dent that I've put in it. It's not even there. I kind of feel like I'm just going to like highlight my entire face. Would you ever like to live outside of the US? Yes, in theory. But living even in Delaware was like very hard being away from family. So I can see myself being an old and living abroad when all my family's dead. Isn't that bad to say? But like when I don't have anyone locally and there's no reason to be here, like around here, even though I love the Midwest, but like I would gladly just go anywhere else. But okay, if I'm gonna put highlighter over my face, I want to put a base of foundation. So I'm just gonna do some powder foundation and I'm gonna highlight. So people are gonna come onto this later and be like, what the fuck is wrong with her? If you could learn any other language, what would it be? Probably Spanish for the like utility of that. Like there's been so many times that I've been in situations where people are speaking Spanish around me, I don't know what they're saying. like we were in Mexico the beginning of the month before all this happened. And some of the staff like didn't speak very good English, but some of the people we were with spoke Spanish. So they would speak Spanish to the people that spoke Spanish. But it was hard because our friends obviously wouldn't like, they're not translators, so they wouldn't translate the whole conversation. So I was like missing, and most of us were like missing parts of the conversation. So I would like to know Spanish. But if I could just like learn anything because it's fun, I think I want to learn like Russian or Italian. Someone asked what my social work career is. I'm a medical social worker. My specialty is oncology, but I did hospice for the last year. But I want to get back into oncology. I also can't believe it's still March. Oh my God, the book that I read at the beginning of the month literally feels like I read it 6 months ago. Like, not even an exaggeration. And I have read a lot this month. I've read 10 books, which is like, who is she? But yeah, it's just a lot. Tips for the MSW. I don't necessarily have like tips. It's just kind of like power through it, man. Also, my one tip for grad school for MSW is to write all of your papers about the population that you want to work with. Because then you can like use the same sources and like pull stuff out of your old papers and like apply it to whatever job you want to have, because then you can be like, look at all this research I did in grad school for this particular like thing or whatever. I did advanced standing for like, I had a shorter track because I had been in the field for a number of years, because I didn't go back to grad school since I was 20 until I was 25. So I had been working in the field as a social worker. So then I got to do like the advanced standing thing. Here comes the highlighter. Love the House Salt Chain of Gold live show. I'm glad. Look at that. I'm going to put so much of this on my face. I'm going to go out in the living room and my parents are going to be like, what is wrong with you? So that whole, I've never considered social work outside of working with children. That is a very common misconception. Social workers work with literally every population of people, every age group, and do things like, everyone just thinks that social workers like take away kids and put them in foster care. And that's literally like the smallest part of the jobs that people do. People just tend to think that's what social workers do because that's the kind of jobs that you can get right out of college. But social workers work in, oh my God, I can't even, like any kind of medical profession social workers work in. Any kind of hospital, any like doctor's offices, anything like that. Work in immigration, on the good side. Work in domestic violence, work in eating disorders, work with like dietitians and stuff, work with in like government sectors, work with foster care, work with kids, are therapists, work with hospice, work with older people, work in retirement homes, work in schools, work in colleges, like any population that you would want to work with, social workers can work with animals. There's like a whole veterinary social work that I kind of want to get into that's like up and coming. So it's just like in any place that there are people and people have problems, social workers work in it. So yeah, it's people do think just like social workers just do one thing, and it's not true. How much is statistics involved in getting a social work degree? That's the only math class you have to take is stats. I had to take 2 stats classes, but since social work is like a research-based study, that's all you have to do, which is great, because any other... Yes, environmental social work, indigenous, yep, all of that is a big... Look at this. Yeah. Yeah, that's all a big part of social work. So anywhere that there is justice to be had, social workers are involved. I'm gonna be crazy. I love it. She glows. Watch me start doing my makeup like this all the time. Ah. It's still not even putting a dent in this highlighter, obviously, because this highlighter is going to last a million years. The apocalypse will happen, and this highlighter will like still be going strong. I took that a little far over. Oh well. Doesn't matter, because no one's going to see it but you guys. I work at University Veterinary Teaching Hospital. We have 2 social workers. That's so great. I want to be a veterinary social worker, like so bad. I kind of think of that as like a retirement goal. Honestly, high school should teach us so much more about what. Look at this. Oh my god. I need to even it out. This side isn't glowy enough. This side's so glowy. Oh my god. It's up way too high. It's like not even in the right spot. I just want to like brush all over my face, but I'm not. Maybe I'll put blush on. I only have like one blush though. I'm not really a blush wearer, but I want to be. I wasn't a blush wearer for the longest time because you can still see like my acne scars because I had acne. So like I never wore blush, but now I want to. I love this side. That's cute. I've heard about Jouer blush from Smoky Glow, who I love. So I'm like tempted, but I don't know. I've never learned to do blush. This is fun. I should start doing these lives more often and just do this. Do like the craziest, like maybe next time I'll do a wing like out to here. Do like Trixie Mattel makeup. That's the other content I watch on YouTube that's not booktube related. I watch drag queens all the time. Like, I love them so much. They're so funny. Okay, let's do the Cupid's bow. Let's get it. Yes. Yes. Where would you like to live? I'm happy with where I live now. I want to live in Chicago when this is over, since Chicago's a hot spot for this. Look at that. Looks kind of like I have milk on my lip. It's fine. Chicago's where I want to live. I also wouldn't mind living in Minneapolis at some point, but I'm happy being closer to family right now. So I do like the nose thing. I'm going to keep it light on the nose because I have a bigger nose. So like I don't really need to like accentuate my nose a ton. But I need to like tie it all together. And then maybe like my chin. I am not, okay, so I'm currently not watching Drag Race. I haven't watched Drag Race since the All-Stars that Trixie won. That's how far behind I am. So I don't know like any of the current queens. I'm just, yeah, I'm just watching like old stuff on their YouTube channels and stuff. Trixie makeup is hard. I've never tried it, but I've watched other queens who are like good at makeup try to do it, and even they're like, this is impossible. So. I'm sorry, this is cracking me up. I feel like I gotta put like a liquid lip on after this if I'm gonna accentuate my damn Cupid's bow that much. These cheeks though. But I love, my favorite part of highlighting is like this part right here. I just think it's so fun. Just doing the like the cheekbone and like the temple. I just think it's fun. I don't know what it is. Okay, I do have a blush though, but it's not even like a pinky blush. It's this, this is the only blush I've ever worn, which looks really brown in there, but it's like not that brown. It's pretty light. It's like a cool tone. And it's MAC Harmony. And I kind of do this sometimes. I do, okay, so Trixie Mattel and Katya's show is the show that I watch on YouTube the most. Like I was watching it the other day when I was going through a personal spiral about this whole situation, and I was laughing because I love it so much. Like that's actually the show that I watched when I was sick with cancer and was quarantined then in my house because I couldn't leave because I was so sick. I love that for me. So I was like, oh my god, the last time I was quarantined I watched this, let's do that again, and I did, and I love them so much. So yeah, Katya and Trixie, anything they do is my favorite thing in the world. So I do watch them. I'm gonna do like very light. Who are my favorite drag queens? Honestly, like, okay, Katya and Trixie are like number one. I like a lot of the season 5 queens. I used to like Detox a lot more than I do. I don't really like her as much. I like Alyssa Edwards. I love Alyssa Edwards. I like Jinx Monsoon a lot. I like Alaska, but like I liked her a little bit less. I like Shangela a lot. Who else? I like Adore Delano. I have watched the Netflix reactions. I like Willem. I also watch Willem shows. But Willem can be like a little mean. I love Bianca Del Rio a lot. Who else do I love? There's so many. Those are my favorites, probably. Yeah. There's so many though. They're so good. I just love them. I love Sasha Velour. Duh. I actually saw Sasha. I saw Sasha. Oh, I like what's her name that was in the Orlando Queen from season 9? Was that the season? Who is also shady as hell. I love her. I saw her. So I saw the tour after Sasha won her season. So I saw like a bunch of people that were on tour that season, which was great. Miss Vanjie. Yeah. The only live drag show, well, I've been to like local live drag shows, but the only live drag show for Drag Race I've been to was right after season 9 or whatever season that was that Sasha won. Oh, I love Monique Hart. I like, who else was on that season? The person, the queen that was against Sasha in that season, I also really liked. Shay. Is it Shay? I also really like Shay. Sasha deserved to win, but I also really liked Shay. So, yeah, it was just a lot. I don't know, man. Blush is kind of fun. It's like so weird for me because it's just like I'm so used to, like it's so weird having color here because that's where my acne scars and like acne was. So it's weird for me to like deposit color there. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I feel like I could like get into blush. I feel like it's kind of pretty. Look at that. I mean, like I've had this MAC blush for like over 5 years and there's like not even a dent in it. Ridiculous. Makeup lasts way too long. I mean, it probably doesn't, but I mean, I also look like a vampire if I don't blush, but like that's kind of the vibe. So I also love Bob. I mean, who's the most famous person you've ever met? Have I met any famous people? Which shade? This shade? This? That was MAC Harmony. Who have I met? I think the most famous person that I've met would probably be like some authors. Honestly. Have I met anybody that's like not an author? No, I don't meet famous people. I don't go where famous people go. Even at the drag show, I didn't stay for the meet and greet, so I didn't even get to meet, like, Trixie was at that drag show, but I thought I was going to go to DragCon that year, and then I didn't. So I thought I was going to meet them all at DragCon, and then I didn't go, which was tragic. Can't believe I'm continuing to put makeup on. Honestly. Yeah, I don't meet famous people. Also, like, I don't care. Like, celebrities, like, who would I freak out about if I got to meet? Henry Cavill. But only, like, I would only freak out about, like, people that are famous just because they're pretty. There's plenty of other pretty people in the world. You know? Who would I like to meet that's famous? I don't know, maybe like Sarah Michelle Gellar because she's Buffy. I think I would also enjoy a Comic-Con, but like they're so expensive. And now I don't even want to think about going to a crowd. Like, you know, like we're gonna leave this situation with so much trauma. I probably like would only really want to meet drag queens. Like I want to meet like Trixie and Katya. Like, I don't know if I want to meet like real celebrities. Like what would I have to say to Henry Cavill? Nothing. Hi, your ass looks good in those pants. Hi, I like how you do the like Witcher voice. You know, like I don't have anything to say to you. What is something you could talk about for hours? Honestly, guys, you can ask me mostly anything. I'll talk about it for hours. I'm just, I don't know. I can talk about plants a lot. I can talk about books. I can talk about social injustices because I'm a social worker and I know all about power dynamics. I can talk about power dynamics. I can talk about power dynamics within relationships are really interesting. Like, even though I personally am not into like poly relationships, I find them like really fascinating. I have a couple of friends that are in them, so like that I can talk about a lot. Unequal power structures is something I can just really go off on because I wrote so many papers about it. I can talk about cancer stuff a lot and death and dying freaks people out. Most things, most fandom things, I can talk about a lot. I'm not picky, man. Why do I keep putting this on my face? No, mascara first. Why do I put mascara Did you have to do a dissertation or research project in college, and what were they on, if so? I didn't have to do like a specific dissertation or whatever, but I just did like a ton of papers. So all of my stuff was on young adult cancer for the most part in my master's program. I think I missed a question. In a situation like this, what would a hospital social worker be doing? Right now, like during coronavirus, looking for resources for people. So it would be like a lot of counseling of like family members and stuff, and like talking through the process, especially if someone was passing away. There's like a lot to discuss with that, and just like getting everything set up, what people's wishes were, funerals, things like that. But even from like just a people like everyday standpoint with people living and surviving and whatever, a lot of like resources and stuff, because obviously people aren't going to have income, how to get bills paid, where to stay potentially, family members like setting up stuff for them to stay closer, asking for grants and stuff for particular illnesses. Like cancer specifically has a lot of like, well, it depends on the cancer, but like breast cancer, for example, has a fuck ton of grants that you can apply for. Other kind of cancers don't. So knowing all the like different resources and stuff, setting people up with support groups, setting people up with individual counseling, doing individual counseling yourself, doing grief counseling yourself, doing like CBT type counseling to get people to do certain things that they need to get done, talking to like bill collector things, explaining insurance, getting people set up with insurance, so much, honestly. Like basically anything, any kind of social problem that someone brings in, that the doctors don't know what to do with, which is basically everything, they call the social worker. Like about literally anything. They'll be like, they can't pay for this, or domestic violence, if there's like a cognitive behavioral therapy. If there's a domestic violence situation going on, or like a suspected domestic violence, literally like so much. We helped a woman who was passing away back when I was in my internship, and she had adopted a daughter and then had no other family. She was like a single mom, so we helped that girl get a new family. Like it's just so much. And that was even when I wasn't working in like adoption and foster care. I was working in the hospital, and that was one of my roles, was to help facilitate by calling other social workers who do adoption and foster care to get like there anything that is not covered by the medical side falls under social work. It's unreal. Oh, thank you. I was describing the ED. I can't tell you how much we appreciate the work you do. Yeah, and ED is like, that's where a lot of this stuff comes in, obviously. So it's just like, you got to get on it from the get-go. I do not want to be an ED social worker. I mean, I used to want to maybe do that, but like, oh my God. Because you do get a lot of like the substance users and like domestic violence and stuff like that. But even just like people not knowing how to handle stuff, basically. Any kind of medical problem. For being like a non-medical person, I know a lot of medical stuff, which is actually like not something I love. Like, I know too much. I know too much. I know more than humans should know. I don't love it all the time. Sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes, like in cases like this, it's not. It's not. Tally's doing fine. She loves her life. She gets lots of extra treats because my mom buys her specialty treats from the store when she used to be able to go to the store. So, yeah, Tally gets like all the belly rubs. It's like, it's a lot. Oh yeah, NICU social workers. Man, any medical social worker really is just like doing the best, honestly. And there's some shitty ones, like honestly, but I feel like people don't know how much social workers do. And I feel like we need to do better at like telling people what they do, because then when they call a social worker in, they're like, I don't need, don't take my kids away. And we're like, I'm literally not talking to you about that. like that's not, I'm trying to help you pay a bill, man. We're like, I'm trying to get something else, but people just assume social worker means one thing, which sucks, because we can help a lot. There's a lot up in here. There's a lot of resources in our brains other people don't know, and we have to collect all of it. Oops. that's one thing that I hope comes out of this whole situation is I hope that we value a lot more of our like frontline staff, like social workers, but also, you know, like our nurses and our doctors, yes, but I feel like our nurses and doctors are fairly valued, but like, you know, the clerks at the grocery stores and the people that are now considered essential during this kind of thing, it's like, can we start respecting like more jobs and just like the top paying jobs? I think that'd be a good choice as a society. I don't know. Look at mascara, man. We're gonna need a lot of counseling as a people after all this. Yeah, so I've already been talking to other coworkers and like colleagues and stuff about how social workers and mental health professionals can do something called psychological first aid. And there's like different kinds of things that you can do. Because basically, collectively as a society, we're gonna all have PTSD. Love that for us. So yeah, mental health people are gonna be like just working the most after all of this. Like there's people that need to get us through right now, and then there's going to be people that then have to come in after. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of things that need to change, and I don't know if they're going to change, but I feel like the longer this goes on, the more chance there is of people like changing things about how we run as a society. Like there's so much like hustle culture and having second jobs and these kinds of delivery people, and you know, grocery store people and like all this stuff, valuing you know, our social interactions more, just like there's just so much like that I feel like is going to be impacted by this, which is again hard to imagine because we're not going to know how it's going to get impacted until it's over. Yay. Why would people still go to work? I don't know if you guys are talking in the comments about something. Yeah, some people are still working if they're essential workers. Or like some states do not, I feel like the UK forgets about how big the America is. And so like the UK I know is like mostly shut down, but ours is really kind of going state by state. So like Illinois is in shelter in place, not completely like locked down, but like, you know, shelter in place, restaurants are closed except for I think carry out is still available in certain instances. Grocery stores are open, pharmacies are open, but otherwise nothing else is open. So yeah, so every state is different. But yeah, and Illinois has been over a week. It's nearly 2 weeks now that we've been shut down mostly. So yeah, but every state has been different. So UK, I'm glad you're small enough that everything got contained and that you at least have like your government, you know, your federal government kind of did stuff all at once, but like ours hasn't. So the states are having to kind of be like, let's do it. Like, so I think Illinois has started to impose fines on people, like companies are staying open that are non-essential. They're starting to have some fines on people that are doing that, which is like, yeah. So the government's going to just have to continue to step up and punish people that won't listen, which they shouldn't have to. How often do you look at the news and do you limit yourself? I don't look at the news period. I just look at Twitter because news stuff comes up. And I go on Twitter for half an hour a day and then I take it off my phone. And then I will see stuff. Deadpool. Why do you need to know if you can swear? Because if you start saying stuff that's like super inappropriate and only swear, you're going to get blocked from the live, man. Get it together, guys. It is 5:45 in my country. What's really fucked up is Philadelphia, where I used to live, has a hospital that closed down recently, and the owner is refusing to give it to like the city to make it a coronavirus only like hospital because he's a douchebag. He wanted like something crazy, like it was either like $1 million like a week or a day or like something nuts for like giving them the property, and I'm just like, ooh. aside from underlying conditions, this mainly hits smokers hard. This is hitting a lot of people hard, and we don't know how to figure out who it's going to hit hardest. So please don't spread misinformation like that. So yeah, it's just we don't know, because there's been people who don't have any underlying conditions that are getting sick and dying from this. So this whole thing about like it's only going to hit old people and smokers is like not actually completely accurate. So that's why we all have to chill until we figure out like what the deal is. Smokers do get hit hard. And I'm saying that like it's not just smokers, because people are like that gives people what they feel like permission to go out and do more, because they're like, well, I'm not high risk. It's like, but there's plenty of people, like how many articles have I seen about people that are like completely healthy that are getting taken down, put on ventilators and dying. So this whole like, well, it's not gonna happen if like you're not true. Like, yes, obviously, statistically, if you're smoking or have some kind of lung condition, you are higher risk, duh. But it's not as if it just hits the higher risk. And that's what some people like don't seem to understand. So anyway, that's something that kind of like makes me really mad. So, because I feel like it's just a crossover, a continuing thing that people also have with like, cancer and stuff. Like people are like, oh my gosh, like if I'm really healthy, like I'm not gonna get cancer. It's like, that's not actually what happens. Like, yes, you are more statistically likely to get cancer if you have some of these unhealthier behaviors, but cancer can kill people who are completely healthy and never do like a bad thing in their life. So diseases don't pick. And that's what's terrifying about them. So yeah, people like to ascribe like morality to diseases and be like, oh, well, if I do everything right, I won't get sick. That's like literally not what happens. You're just kind of stacking the deck as best you can. But like, and not to make people anxious. I know that kind of makes people anxious, but that's also why like I feel like working in healthcare, I just like know more. And so I can't just sit there and be like, oh my God, if I like do everything and like eat a lot of leafy greens, like I'll never get sick. And like, that's not true. Like you might get sick maybe statistically a little bit less, but like there's outliers. Yeah. And like people are saying correlation is not equal causation, and just stay inside and wash your hands. So I feel like I should put lipstick on. Yeah, I've seen, yeah, certain companies are still being considered essential, and it's kind of like, I don't know that everyone needs to be out. Yes, like I said, young people also shouldn't dismiss the risks. I mean, on one hand, like I'm also like, yes, don't dismiss the risks, like I just said, but also I'm like, I'm personally like, okay, I know now that young people can get sick. That's all I need to know. I'm gonna be safe. Can we not beat everyone over the head with it either? Because it's like, hopefully anyone that's gonna get it is gonna get it once we start hearing that young people can get sick. So I don't have the new Animal Crossing. I don't have a Switch, and I don't plan on buying one. I'm just gonna keep to my PS4 games. I don't even want to talk about spring breakers in Florida. America just moved too slow with this. One of my really good friends is an epidemiologist. If you're healthy, you're way less likely to die from the virus. Yes, but healthy people are still dying from it. Guys, I don't want to keep talking about like how, you know, if you're healthy or whatever, like viruses don't pick. Like anyone can die from this. Point blank. I'm not going to keep talking about it and going in a circle with it. Anyone can die from it. That is scary, and I want to legitimize that that's scary. America done fucked up, taking too long because we had all of February to contain this a bit more than we did. So now more people are going to die from it. That's fucked up and scary. I don't want to keep talking about it. I know every live we're going to talk about it at some point, but like, it's like, I'm not going to keep fighting about like the fact that anyone can get this. Like, that is true. So, do you play any Dragon Age or Borderlands? Yes, play Dragon Age. I haven't quite finished Origins, but I've played Inquisition like 3 times. I've played Dragon Age 2. And I'm currently playing Origins. And then I played Borderlands, the first one. Any in-home workout recommendations? I'm really not like, so I'm working out and exercising for mental health purposes, but not to be like, I'm gonna come out of quarantine like fit, because like not a priority right now. Like, surviving is a priority, not necessarily like thriving or like having something like that, you know, whatever. Don't pressure yourself to work out at home. But I personally like yoga, and I do it like twice a week, and I use yoga for Adrian, and I've been going for walks like every day. It's nice out. Have you ever considered cooking to de-stress from everything that's going on? I keep seeing people stress baking, and I like want to be that person, but I'm not. Like, like, so yeah, I would like to bake, but I also don't have a lot of supplies. I don't want to go out and get supplies, whatever. So I do, like, I try to cook every time I get groceries, which I get them like I get them for pickup. I try to do like enough ingredients for like a fun recipe every time. So it's like once a week on average, week and a half that I get groceries now. I try to plan some kind of like fun new recipe to try during that time because I do like cooking. Someone asked a question that I didn't see. What are some things that bring you peace? I mean, honestly, just like simple things. So like going for walks out in nature. Thankfully, Illinois, you can still like go outside. So that, hanging out with the dog, just like all my little hobbies and stuff have been fun. People who can actually cook from raw ingredients have a good advantage. True. But I cook from raw ingredients too, but like I just don't keep a lot of stuff stocked at the house for things. Will Top 5 Wednesday be a thing again? No. I talked about this in another live, and I put Top 5 Wednesday on hiatus because I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and I said that if I wanted to come back to it, I would, but I have not felt any desire to come back to it because you're basically creating content sort of for other people. Like, you're creating topic, like, content for other people, which is more of a drain than people would think it is. So I just want to worry about my own stuff. And there were just a lot of questions that I'd get, and it just got like very overwhelming. Like, again, not the first world problems, not the hardest thing in the world, but like it just was very draining on my own creativity, and I found that I like was just kind of molding my own content around Top 5 Wednesday, and I didn't really want to be doing that. So I feel a lot better about my content with not doing Top 5 Wednesday anymore. But there's years of topics that people can go and do if they want to. Because at this point, we've done like almost every topic. Like, there wasn't new topics to do, you know? Like, there wasn't really much new content there. So, how do you plan videos? Beginning of the month, I kind of go through all of the days that I'm going to do videos on. So, like, upload the same, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and kind of plan it out there. And it's kind of just like based on maybe what I've seen other people do and I think is cool, any kind of inspiration like that, or tags, what reviews of books that I'm reading and have read, whatever, coming up, and then just like topics that I want to talk about. Like, maybe if I read something that has like an angsty romance in it, then like I want to talk about angsty romances or whatever. Have you read R.I. Salvatore? No, but I've seen their books around. Not super interested, I don't think. I mean, intrigued enough, but like, again, there's so many books that I want to get to before anything like that. Any feel-good book recommendations? Honestly, dude, any kind of feel-good for me is romance, like, at this point, which I never would have thought that, but, like, romance, what's fun about romance, and that I think other people don't seem to understand if you don't read it, is that it has a certain level of predictability that is so soothing. So, I've been social distancing for 3 weeks. Somebody asked about quarantining. I've been social distancing for 3 weeks. So, like, romance, you know the tropes that are in there, you know the beats, and you know that at the end everything's going to work out. So that's why I think that there's no vague endings in like an actual romance book. Like, it just is happy, you know? So like, that's what I recommend. I know that's not everyone's genre, but you can find like, you can find sci-fi romance, mystery kind of romance-y type stuff, you know, like contemporary, whatever. So for my anxiety, like, since the fall, it's just been like nice to have romances. And yeah, cozy mysteries are kind of the same thing. I personally don't read cozy mysteries, but like, you know the beats they're gonna follow. So I feel like sticking to anything like super predictable is actually kind of good right now. Fuck, marry, kill Geralt, Yennefer, and Gaskier. I would marry Yennefer. Oh, damn it, I don't love this. I would marry Yennefer, I would fuck Geralt, and I would kill Gaskier. I hate that, but it's what I would do. I don't love it. I don't. But I don't want to have sex with Gaskier, and I don't want to marry him. But he's so precious. He's good baby. So yeah, those are my choices. Should I put a lipstick on? Is Gaskier called Gaskier or Dandelion in the games? He's called Dandelion in the games. Dandelion. I don't know what lipstick to wear. Not that I need to put lipstick on at all. No, feel free to answer things. It's fine. Because some of these questions I'm not seeing, so. Purple? I have a lot of purple. I feel like I wear purple a lot. I know, I love him too. But, like, I don't want to marry him. I don't. He's too sweet. I can't marry that sweet of a man. I just can't. And I want to marry Yennefer. She's my wife. Do you like space books at all? Yes. But I like certain kinds of space books that I want to definitely get more into. I like space operas and I like space westerns. And I like sort of like slice of life space. And I feel like some of those are hard to find. I feel like what's really popular within the sci-fi genre lately has been like military sci-fi. And I don't love it. But I love me a good space opera or a good space western. I have Fortune's Pawn on my, like, hypothetical TBR. Like, it's on my Goodreads. Have you read Gideon the Ninth? So, I did start Gideon the Ninth back before the Great Anxiety Flare of 2019. And I got partway through it, and then it had some triggers in it, so I had to stop. And then after that happened, a lot of the explosion happened with the author, which I'm not going to get into. But that made it so, like, reading it is now fraught. Like, regardless, like, it's turned into another Cruel Prince. Is it Cruel Prince? Captive Prince. It's turned into another Captive Prince situation where it's like, there's a huge fan of people that love it and a huge fan of people that hate it. And either way, you're screwed. And I don't tend to love to go into books like that. Like, it's a book that I wanted to read, and that's why I started reading it, but then it's triggering. So not only do I have to worry about going into a book that's potentially triggering, but then I have to go into a book that, like, no matter what, people are going to be, like, mad at you. And, like, the stands on both sides are so, like, that I just don't really want to deal with it. Do you think there was a huge fandom self-insert with Wicked Saints? I talked about this in my video. Absolutely. I have read Cersei. Yeah, I feel like it's not necessarily a fandom self-insert, but, like, it's, I could just see, like, the author in that work. I like that author as, like, a person. I followed her on Tumblr for years before that book came out. That's why I was so excited about that book. But, like, I could feel her in the story because I'm just like, I know what she likes and all that stuff because I've been following her on Tumblr for so long. Someone asked about trigger warnings. How do I feel about trigger warnings? I think, honestly, we should just get to a point where like well, it's hard because publishers are not, as they've proven, are not going to be able to identify all the triggers that are in something. No one really can identify all the triggers that are in something because there's plenty of triggers that aren't common. So that's hard. But I wish, like, some of the big trigger warnings would just be in books. Like, would just be in the front. Like, some of the big ones. But again, that's not going to get all of them covered. Because for the longest time, like, I didn't know that, like, death of a parent or death of a sibling would necessarily be a trigger warning, but then I would think about it and be like, well, no shit. Or, like, death of a pet. Or, like, any of those kinds of things. Like, I think everyone knows, like, rape, gore, some of those things are going to be trigger warnings. But, again, I think publishers wouldn't even know all of them to cover. And even reviewers don't know all of them to cover. Because unless you come in contact with somebody who has that trigger, you're not going to know that's a trigger necessarily. So I think trigger warnings are necessary, but hard to do and make universal. So even an author's not going to necessarily know what a trigger warning. Like, the big ones I think authors do know, but like I said, like, I wouldn't necessarily, like, identify some things as triggers until I started seeing people listing them in trigger warnings. And I'm a social worker. You know, so, like, it's hard to figure out, like, necessarily what's going to be... Like, for another one that comes up a lot is... what was I going to say? I got distracted by someone being shitty in the comments. What That's one that comes up a lot. I lost my train of thought. This is what happens. Yes, so people do need to learn to dislike something without calling it a trigger. I don't think that everyone that says, like, I think some of these things are these things are triggering to people, but I think there are a lot of times when people are just like, I don't like this thing, so like it should be a trigger warning. But I think there's a lot of things people don't like seeing in media that are legitimately triggers, like seeing cancer or something in or like I said, death of a parent, death of a sibling, death of a pet, self-harm, and even self-harm, like that's a trigger for like the book Vicious, but I didn't even realize that what that character was doing was self-harm until someone pointed it out. So but there's really like not a universal way to address the trigger thing, to be honest. But I don't think people should be getting mad at people for pointing out triggers though. Like, if it doesn't bother you, then don't worry about it. Do you have any interest in mythology? Yes, do you even know me? I mostly prefer Celtic, Slavic, and Greek, and Egyptian. Is that all of it? Those are my favorites. I like a lot of, like, I'm getting more into some of the Eastern stuff, too. Someone said most books do include trigger warnings, but they put it in the beginning with the smallest font possible. I've never seen that, but I'll have to look. Will you read the new N.K. Jemisin book? I do plan to, but right now, since it's sort of like apocalyptic, I'm not really in the mood for it. But it's something that I do plan to read at one point. Yeah, I do plan to read City of Brass. Any luck on the Hades Persephone fiction search? I'm I'm not giving up completely on it, but I think what a lot of people write for Hades and Persephone is not what I like, which is a shame. I did recently read a Hades Persephone historical romance retelling, though, and it was bomb. I will talk about that in my wrap-up coming up next week, but that was a good one. But mostly, like, I think I've definitely given up on, like, just retellings of the myth in which they are the characters, like, in which they are Hades and Persephone, besides Lore Olympus, because people just don't tend to do those very well. When are you going to continue the Tiger's Daughter series? Before June. Because, again, I want to get my TBR to 0 by June. So I'm just playing with this box. This box, one of my lipsticks came in. No, I'm just playing with it. Apparently. I have makeup boxes everywhere right now, which is weird because I don't really buy a lot. I have not read the middle book in Tiger's Daughter yet. The box is the box that this lipstick came in. Did you ever use ColourPop? Yes, but I haven't in a long time. I used their liquid lipsticks when they first came out, and then I haven't recently because I have a lot of lipsticks that like are fine. I tend to like buying liquid lipsticks in fun colors, and ColourPop tends to have a lot of like nudes and stuff, and it's like, well, I don't need any of those. So I have thought of a few different shades I might want to get, but I think I might get it in this Black Moon Cosmetics formula because I really like them. Biggest book surprise recently. I don't know if I have one recently. I can't think back to anything past this month, since this month has lasted 8 million years. So March is honestly so long. What is a feel-good book you recommend? I sort of mentioned just like in general romance books or feel-goods because they are predictable and there's always going to be a happily ever after. So like The Honeymooners, Well Met, those kind of books. Because a lot of any kind of fantasy book is going to tend to have some kind of like strife. So I have read Gail Forman. I read the If I Stay series duology. I haven't read anything from her recently though. I don't know if she's put anything out very recently. Morgan Matson books are feel-good books. So What were some of your favorite cartoons growing up? I liked the Rugrats. I liked Rocko's Modern Life, which is like so inappropriate now looking back. I watched a lot of Nickelodeon shows. What ones am I forgetting? I was the generation right before Cat Dog, because Cat Dog was like right at the end of when I stopped watching stuff. Hey Arnold. Those are my mains. I want to say cartoons I watched growing up. It was so long ago. I'm forgetting. Yes, One Day in December is one I did not recommend as a feel good because it is emotional in the feels, for sure. Any future predictions on new favorite books? I recently did like a 5-star predictions video. In the last, I think I did it in February. I want to say. Someone said Real Monsters. I think I watched that too. No one should probably read Station 11 right now if you want something comforting, because it's not. But if you want to read something that's like feels very current, then you can read that. But I would not recommend if you have any kind of anxiety to read that right now, because I read it in 2017 and I'm like, this happened in Station 11. I think The Stand was the Stephen King book that people are saying is like a post-apocalyptic similar to this. But I never read it. I haven't read any Stephen King. No, a lot of people have been reading like dystopians and stuff right now. I personally don't want to. It's too close to home right now. Do you plan on reading Serpent and the Dove? I probably will at some point, but like I'm not really in a hurry. That's another like really polarizing book that I feel like I don't care about it enough to like engage with it right now. This highlight though. Crazy. So yeah, I'm like a little intrigued, but how many books are still in your physical TBR? By the end of the month, it'll be 27. It was exciting. I don't know why certain weirdos found me. Are y'all bored at home? Just want to leave like really weird comments about like inappropriate things on my live? Like I'm not that important. I just don't really understand. Like, do people just peruse for random lives to like leave shitty comments that they know will get them blocked? That's like really sad. like I know my life's sad. I know I've been wearing the same like hoodie for like 2 weeks, washing it, but you know, like I'm wearing the same clothes, and like I don't feel any desire to do that. Go play a video game, man. Go yell at your mom. I don't know. Like I just do something else. Go bake a sourdough loaf. Be productive. Like, so I don't really get bots. Like, so people make bots to then send into like Twitter threads and like lives to just like post weird. Why? This is why the world is ending, because people do stupid shit like that. Sky Daddy was like, like, y'all have too much craziness over there. You got too much time on your hands. I need you to stop. Weird. I don't know. Bots, man. Sky Daddy, trademark of Ginger Rieslaney. She's the one that came up with that, but it's hilarious. And now, like, our whole friend group says it. Mr. Botman, what are you doing? People have gone mad. I don't know, but generally speaking, we need to keep in mind that in society, when bad things like this happen, generally speaking, humanity does step up. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but that is like as a societal thing, what people tend to do. People start to realize that we're actually a more collective society than we like to think that we are, and they start helping each other, which is nice, generally. So keep that in mind, because the whole like everyone's gonna be nasty, like that's not usually what ends up happening. It's a lot of togetherness that ends up happening. Obviously not like physically togetherness right now, but people step up. Just keep that in mind. Yes, I do read Bradley Blao's Song of Shattered Sands. I've only read the first book. I have the second book. But that's a series that I'm currently reading. How Scary Are the Monsters in the Kingdom on Fire trilogy? They're more like eldritch beings. So like, a couple of them look like animals, like big animals. And then there's a couple that are more like eldritchy. There is one in the shape of a man, but like we haven't quite figured out what that's about. But there's like a lizard. There's like a oh god, what is she? Almost like a harpy, like a vulture with the woman's head, I think. There's like a smoke monster thing. So for me, they're not super scary because they're so like over the top and more like eldritchy that doesn't feel super scary to me. Like Cthulhu doesn't scare me. It's just like a, sci-fi thing that, like interdimensional beings like that don't tend to freak me out that much. I'm more freaked out by like stuff in The Witcher, like wraiths and all that weird stuff. So, what do you think of the new A Court of Thorns and Roses covers? I don't like them because they're trying to be, they're almost trying to make them look like classic novels, and I'm like, you're not. Do you prefer Six of Crows or Crooked Kingdom? I liked Six of Crows more. I still should probably put on lipstick. Have you ever read Watched: A Discovery of Witches? No. I'm not really super interested in it. Sarah Jane really likes it, but it's not something that I really care about. The whole point was gonna like get here, switch my license over, and get a job. But I work in hospitals, and that's not happening right now. So I don't even know where to watch Discovery of Witches in the US. I also really enjoyed the UK-US snacks video that we did. I found some of my favorite snacks in that video. Now TV. Are you into D&D? I am. I haven't played in like a very long time. But I used to have a couple campaigns. I'm more like, I prefer like GURPS and some of the other things to D&D, to be honest. What UK snacks did you try? Oh, like so many ones. You have to watch the video, because the only ones I remember, Crunchies are my favorite, like chocolate from the UK. And then Twiglets I like a lot. Y'all, why have the bots found me? I'm just very like, why are you guys bored? I only have 140 people watching me. Like, can't you go on like a, I don't know, like a Jeffree Star live or something? Like, I'm really like sad for y'all. You came to bother me. Like, I'm not actually bothered. I just have to like block you every time you do something, which is just takes 2 seconds out of my day. I'm not doing anything better, I guess. But like, I just don't know why you're targeting me specifically. What book are you most excited to read for the owls? I'm kind of excited about all of them. Yeah, I've gotten to the point in my TBR where like everything I'm pretty excited about getting to. So I'm kind of excited to do some of the rereads of the graphic novels. I'm excited for a lot of them. God's Grave. I'm probably going to read God's Grave. But yeah, most of them I'm like, that'll be fun. Which is why I picked them. I just don't understand troll culture. I don't. What should I know going into King of Scars? Keep your expectations low and make sure that you read the Grisha trilogy. I don't speak Chinese, bro. Well, I don't speak Mandarin. This is like all the same person. Bored now. Graphic novel recommendations. Monstrous, The Wicked and the Divine, Saga. Can't even spell racist. It looks like you said raisin. Those are the major ones. Descender. Tips for making bookish friends. I think going on like the bookish platforms and like talking to people on like book Twitter, Instagram, things like that. Fandom spaces. Favorite scene you're looking forward to in the Grisha TV show? I mean, honestly, which one am I not looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Elena finally like welcoming her powers. I'm looking forward to I'm an apt pupil. I'm looking forward to There's Two Thrones. I'm looking forward to I want them in the show to have an actual battle between the Darkling and Elena, because they didn't do it in the books really. So yeah, I hope that they do that. Have you ever done a real life book club? I went to one right before I moved away from Delaware, but only a couple times. When you attended BookCon, did you think it was crazy disorganized? Yes, it is. The most disorganized. BookCon is awful. It's fun for people because there's a lot of people there, but like the organization there for the level of how big of an event that is like not there. Like, why give people so much money for that event when they don't even like do a good job running it? All tea, all shade. But you can see a lot of authors, I guess. But then you have to stand in a ton of lines. There's just like any good thing that you can say about BookCon, you can say like 3 bad things about it. And I've gone to a number of them, so like my opinion is valid. Like, it's not fun. I don't find it fun. Some people find it fun. I have friends that really like it. But there's other events I'd much rather go to. Like, so many other events. YALLFest is like way more fun, and I feel like you have a better chance of seeing more authors at YALLFest than you do at BookCon. And most authors that are attending like BookCon and stuff will be attending some of those other festivals around the country, so just try to go to one that's like not BookCon. And you'll pay less money. It'll be in like a less expensive city than New York, and you won't stand in line to stand in line to stand in line to see an author. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's even hard to meet other book people there. Like, everyone has their own schedule. Like, it's just a lot. Yeah, people, like, the people that work at BookCon are, like, too stressed, so they're, like, mean. It's just a mess. Thank you for translating the Mandarin. I mean, there are trolls that are, like, posting things that I can't even read. Like, I can't read Mandarin, bro. I mean, I'll block you just because, like, I guess that's what you want. YALLFest is better. Yes, I think YALLFest is better for meeting authors, for, like, seeing panels, like overall, it's just better. What authors have you met? Let me see. Lee Bardugo, Ray Rutkowski, Morgan Rhodes, Jay Kristoff, before I even read any of his books. No, I read Illuminae. Tahada Mafi. I've met most of these people at YALLFest. Ray Carson, Gail Carriger, Sarah J. Maas, Susan Dennard. A lot. Which is why, like, even meeting authors is, like, not that important to me. Not because I've met so many, but just because it's, like, authors have never been something where it's like, oh my god, I really want to meet this particular author. Oh, I met Erin Morgenstern. That was the only one. Erin Morgenstern and Lee Bardugo were the two that I, like, wanted to throw up because I was so excited to meet them. But, like, generally speaking, meeting authors just, like, they're just people, man. Like, I met Mary E. Pearson. Are you interested in classics? Yes. I have a bunch of them on my shelf, actually. I used to read a lot more of them in, like, high school and college. But, like, I also just really like more modern stuff because I tend to, you know, like a lot of fantasy, and I don't really like a lot of classic fantasy. So I don't tend to read a ton of classics right now. How many books on average do you read in a year? Usually somewhere between 60 and 70 the last couple of years. Back in, like, 2015, I read 100 books, which is just... I don't even know how I did that. But it tends to be between 60 and 70, generally speaking. This year will be interesting because I'm reading so much more this first half of the year. So maybe I'll get to 100 this year. Because right now I think I'm at like 24, 22. Between like 22 and 24 books I've already read, which is just a lot. At this point, I'm just going to delete people that have anything... with an asterisk, because apparently YouTube will flag them for certain words, so they're asterisking it to not get flagged by YouTube, so that I have to then take 2 seconds out of my day, tap their message, and hit hide from channel. Which, if you want me to do that, I guess I will. My parents are cooking something. Look at this makeup. Good for me. All I need is a little bit. You can actually see my eyelashes. It's nice. Maybe I'll put on a red lipstick. Do I like ASMR? Oh, was this ASMR for you because I was playing with the box? Oh, I have paper. I don't know how to do this. How do I get mods? Someone asked if I've thought about dyeing my hair instead of growing it out. I don't really have a desire to dye my hair, and it's more high maintenance too. I used to have purple and blue and green hair, and it's just really high maintenance. Any reading vlogs soon? I do plan to do a magical readathon vlog. It's going to be hella boring because I'm just going to be sitting around doing nothing, but I do plan on doing it. Zoe Wanamaker's Bagra thoughts? Love it. Love it. Someone asked if it's hard living with my parents. I've kind of gotten a routine. It's harder. It was okay when everyone was still working. It's been harder when everyone's home. But I'm glad they're home because that's what we're supposed to do. But I deeply valued my time when they were at work. Should I put this lipstick on? I guess I am. Not too late. How's my TBR going? It's going good. I have about, I think I said earlier, 27 books by the end of the month will be on my TBR. Oh, I just messed this up. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, thank you. I sometimes watch your videos to relax. Thanks. I'm glad I'm relaxing enough. Have you read Jade City, Jade War? No, but Joss from Yoga with the Book keeps talking about them, and I do want to read them at some point. Story of my life. Are there any books you'd like to reread? Night Circus. What else? Kind of want to reread The Remnant Chronicles, like a little bit. I don't know. Are your parents big readers? My dad is. My mom reads a lot of like Nora Roberts. I've been giving her romance books to read, so that's been fun. She just read The Honeymooners and she really liked it. Will we get to see your magical readathon TBR? It's already posted, baby. It's kind of uneven because I'm talking at the same time. Oh well. Will you play Cyberpunk 2077 for the PS4? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I made frozen french fries at 3 a.m. last night. Any weird food habits during this time? Not really. I've kind of been staying the same so far. But I just eat at random times because time has no meaning anymore. And time is a social construct and always has been. So I eat when I'm hungry. And I don't stick to like, it's lunchtime. I had a like snack lunch at like 3 o'clock. My parents are eating dinner and I'm kind of like, I mean, I probably will get off here soon, but are there any books that came right at the right time in your life? Mellow K.E. by Alan Bernert. I read right before I was sick, and that was a good time to read that. I don't know. What was I reading? Oh, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo came at a really good time. There were some lines on there that had me like shooketh. How are your pets doing with the self-isolation? Tally's fine. She's having the time of her life. She loves that like everyone's home to pet her at all times. And it's great for her. The cats are next door at my neighbor's house because my mom's allergic, and they're probably also fine. Like, they love people. So they're probably like having the best time. I see them about once a week when my neighbor's not there. My dad just got the sequel that he's gonna read. I don't know if I really feel like reading the sequel, but it was good at the time that I read it. What is his hair doing? Have you heard of Rachel Aaron? I don't think so. I don't really pay attention to a lot of urban fantasy books though, because they're not my genre of choice. Any books you're rereading? Again, nothing right now. I'm not a rereader for comfort very much. So, yes, Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks are my favorite, but I don't buy from him anymore. But I did just get the Black Moon Cosmetics, 2 of those, and these are really great. I like them a lot. So I do plan on getting more. Top beauty product? I don't know if I have like a top favorite beauty product. I have a lot of things that I really like. I stick to a lot of the same stuff. I could really go through like a list of one of my favorite things of every category. Do you have a daily routine? I do not have a daily routine right now, just because I don't really feel like I could stick to that. A lot of my motivation is like externally motivated, which is unfortunate. But I just kind of have vague ideas of what I want to get done, and I tend to stick to it. Yeah, I don't know. I would, I guess I need mods. I don't know. Do you have a favorite beauty guru? Samantha Ravendall is my one beauty guru that I continue to follow, who I love. I used to follow a ton of beauty gurus though, but Samantha is the only one that I've like stayed with. Forest Witch spending a lazy day in her cottage vibes. Thank you. That's the kind of energy I always hope to emit. If I could be living in the forest right now, I'd be so much happier. honestly. My parents live next to a forest, so I've been like slightly happier being here. But I want it to start like growing, and then I'll walk back there all the time and be with the animals. Fantasy books that also deal with mental health. I just read City of Lies by Sam Hawke. I didn't love that book, but one of the main characters has OCD pretty severely, and then the other character has like chronic fatigue. So that was one that I liked for mental health. Do you name your plants? I really don't. I named a couple of my plants when I first got them, and then I was like, I don't stick to the names. I just because I kind of have like one of each kind right now. So like I just say what they, like I call them by their plant name, by their real name. But I do refer to them as he, she's, or theys, depending on what I feel like, what kind of gender they are expressing. But I have different names for them. I think because I have too many. How much time per day do you spend reading? Typically speaking, like about an hour, but sometimes more. I feel like some of these people I've already blocked. But yeah, and then I also like, well, I don't know, I probably read more than that because I read like about an hour a day at minimum of my physical book, and then I'll listen to an audiobook for like, on 2 speed usually. Oh, someone just asked me. Usually between 2 and 2.5 speed, but I end up listening to, I don't start the book out that way, but I'll work up from like 1.5 to like 2 to 2.5 once I get used to the narrator, and I listen to that when I'm going for walks or working out or whatever, so that's usually like 30 minutes-ish a day. Sometimes listen to an audiobook too when I'm like getting ready in the morning or getting ready at night for bed. And then before bed, I've been listening to, or I've been reading ebooks. And I usually read an ebook for probably like another half an hour. So I probably end up reading between like 2 and 3 hours a day. Yeah, they are different of the same account, like they are different account with the same people, because the last person I blocked was like A6 and now this is A14. It's weird. Have you considered reading the Bane Chronicles since you enjoy Magnus Bane? No, I don't plan on reading any other, I will not read any other Cassandra Clare stuff besides the Infernal Devices in the Last Hours. Unless she writes something else after the Last Hours, but I don't think she plans to. I'm kind of over it too, like I just kind of want to like wrap it up with the Last Hours. I think I don't really see myself returning to Cassandra Clare after that. If she writes another historical, will you not relate to Shadowhunters? Probably not. I don't love her writing enough to really do that. Like, if she strays from, I don't know, like, I just feel like I don't care enough to follow her in another series. I'm not, like, super invested in her, Cassandra Clare. Like, I'm not a stan. I mean, if it appealed to me, I guess I would. I mean, like, never say never. What are your thoughts on The Language of Thorns? I liked it. Are you going to read the Honey Don't list? Yes, probably. I really need to read more Christina Lauren stuff and go back and read more stuff. Do you like movies? Yes. I don't tend to watch them very often, though. I tend to gear more towards TV. But I've watched more movies lately. Like, I just tend to watch movies like they're, like, on TV. Like, they're on, like, TBS. And I'm like, okay, this is on. Like, today, I watched A Few Good Men and Green Mile. The other day, I watched Gone in 60 Seconds. The Ocean's movies were on the other day. Like, I will watch stuff on TV like that, but sitting down and thinking, like, I'm going to watch this film, I just don't tend to do. Steve Rogers is the best MCU character, in my opinion. I like so many of them that I couldn't even pick a favorite. Do you like A Few Good Men? A Few Good Men is a show or a movie that I've seen so many times, but never in its entirety because it's always been on TV. So, like, I think I like it. I mean, it's a military court drama when Tom Cruise was, like, a golden boy. So I do like the like final scene in that movie. It's pretty good. But I wouldn't say it's a favorite movie by any chance or by any means. The Honey Don't List is one of their more fade to black romances. Is that the one you're referring to? Do you find it hard to be open about mental illness on your channel? Like not really. I mention it when it's like appropriate. I don't know. Not particularly, but I just don't find it super relevant to what I'm talking about necessarily. Like, I mean, I mentioned when I have anxiety flares and stuff like that, but like, typically speaking, like I don't seek out mental illness rep in books like some people do, just because I'd rather not read about something I'm currently going through all the time. I use books for a little bit more for escapism than some people might, so it just doesn't come up that much. I mean, I mention it enough. I feel like a lot of people know, but I don't like bring it up all the time. I'm gonna get off of here, and I think in about 10 minutes or so. So wrap it up. I'm gonna try to keep doing these at least once a week. Though this was fun. How is your new nail tech? Great. I love him, but I've only seen him the once, and now salons are closed. So, yay. What is the last book that had you completely immersed? Was it something I read this month? Oh, The Winter of the Witch. For sure. By Catherine Arden. You're welcome. Do you think you'll like the Guinevere Deception? I'm not sure. I almost started reading that the other day, and then I was like, it's too close to Magical Readathon. I'm not going to. But yeah, I'm not sure because I haven't really liked a lot of Kirsten White's other stuff. So. Am I the only one that finds it hard to get to N.K. Jemisin? I don't find her books particularly hard to get into. I don't find them difficult to read, but maybe it does take me a little bit longer to attach to characters in them. Like 100 or so pages. It's not like an instant character attachment. I think because her characters tend to be a little more like flawed. So, do you think you'll read Maas's new book? At some point. I answered this earlier, but I think I'll probably read it like a few years down the line or something. I might read it this year. I don't know but I'm just not super like motivated to pick it up. I'm not opposed to it, but it's just like I have so many other books that I genuinely want to read. Will you read The Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth? I think that we're gonna do it for House Salt Book Club. I think. I'm not super like interested, but I think we might read it. I think. I don't know. I don't know if I care. I don't care a lot about a lot of like big name releases these days. I don't know. I mean, with like a few exceptions, but I don't want to read something just because it's Veronica Roth. I only ever read Divergent. I mean, and I read Carve the Mark too, but that was like for review purposes and stuff. Favorite Vine, like of the Vine, like the app. I don't even have a favorite. There's so many. Hunger Games continuation. Yeah, I'm going to read that also for House Salt Book Club. I'm giving you spoilers for the books we're going to pick. But that one, like, I guess House Salt, we all do want to read the next Hunger Games. Like, we want to try it. So, next round of Tome Topple, I think I decided it's going to be, did I say May? June. May or June? I think it was June. I think I had decided and then I forgot because all this happened. But May or June. The most underrated book that I've read, I mean, maybe Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri. Have you read Three Dark Crowns? Yes. And I read the second book, and then I kind of just gave up because, yeah, I just kind of lost interest. Do you think you'll read Priory of the Orange Tree? Yes, that's on my list. I don't own it, but after my TBR gets to 0, then maybe I'll buy it. I don't know. I'll probably wait to buy a lot of books until my birthday. Well, like, I won't buy them. I'll probably wait to get, like, books for gifts. Like, I don't think I'll make a huge, like, the whole point of getting my TBR to 0 is to not then make a huge book haul, so I'm back up to, like, 20 books. And especially a book like Priory, I'd probably wait till my TBR was down to, like, 5. When do you think you'll get your TBR down to 0? I'm aiming for by the end of June. We'll see. But that's the aim right now. I think I can do it. I don't know. I have a couple bigger books on my TBR, but nothing like huge. Have you found a groove of what kind of romance you prefer? I haven't read widely enough to kind of decide. My favorites tend to be like this stuff like The Honeymooners, Well Met. I'm reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Like, there's a certain flavor to that that's, like, I can't quite figure out what you'd classify it as. I mean, it's contemporary romance, but, like, there's plenty of contemporary romances that don't feel like that. So I tend to like that. But I did read a historical. No, I'm not in New Jersey. I'm in Illinois. I have read a historical lately that I really liked. I have not read Red, White, and Royal Blue, but I plan to. That's one that I do plan to get after my TBR is done a little bit more. So yeah, there's just a lot. I haven't read widely enough in the genre to kind of like figure out my group, but I know for sure that I like the contemporary with a little bit of chick lit almost in it. Comedy, I guess. Favorite tarot decks or oracle decks? Oh, I can't even remember. There's one that's like something wild. Any that look like foresty, nature-y. I love those kind of decks. What would you recommend me to grow my channel? The thing is with like, I get that people are like, they want to grow their channels, but you kind of grow your channels by not trying. I mean, like, you do and you don't. Like, if people see that you're trying to grow your channel, that kind of turns people off to you. So that you really have to do the things that are good for any kind of like content creation kind of thing. You look like a male with makeup. Oh, like a boy? Thank you. Do I look androgynous? I want to do something inappropriate, but I wouldn't do it for the rest of the people. I had that scene from, what is it? Silence of the Lambs. That's like, do you want to fuck me? I'd fuck me. Like so, girl, I watch drag queens. I'm not afraid to look like a boy in makeup. Have you watched Tiger King? No. But so the content creation thing and like growing your channel, you just kind of have to like make sure you have good lighting of some kind. Natural light works fine. Make sure you have a decent background, because people like that. Make sure that you can be heard clearly. Either you have personality for YouTube or you don't. Like, people either like you or you don't. It's a lot of like luck and stuff. And then like mostly interact with people, but don't interact with them just to like grow your channel. So like that's the thing, is like a lot of people are like, oh, I need to like interact with, you know, like a bunch of creators and bigger creators so that I can like grow my channel. And it's like, but when you say that out loud so that you're only talking to people to grow your channel, it's fake. How'd you learn to do your makeup so well? YouTube. I just watched a ton of beauty gurus from like 2013 on, and here we are. I don't do my makeup like a lot of the beauty gurus do, but I feel like I do it well enough. So. I'm really liking this highlighter still. Oh, thank you. I love your makeup each video, so you definitely do. Thanks. I wish I had more like fun palettes for times like this when I could just like do my makeup. But am I the only one bothered by how the larger booktubers at BookCon are never on the show floor low-key? No, I don't think you're the only one bothered. However, I do see how people get overwhelmed at those events. Because if you are super popular at a book event, like I'm not popular enough to be like overwhelmed at a book event, and I don't think anyone's in like a couple of years ago there was all this like people might be in danger because I don't think anyone's in danger at BookCon. Let me just put that out there. Again, like that could change. We could have a event happen at BookCon. Always be careful, but I never feel fearful at BookCon. But I think it's emotionally exhausting for people, and I think that's probably why they avoid the show floor so much, because even like me being I know I'm like bigger than some channels, but I'm also smaller than a lot of channels, so like I almost like larger mid whatever, and an all day of a book event is tiring. I still like talking to people and I still like going, but like if you're getting approached constantly, it's not that people want to like turn you away, it's just like it's just draining. Like if you're talking to people like all day and you're not used to talking to people, because most of us aren't used to talking to so many people like all day. So I think that's why they kind of stay off the show floor, but at the same time I'm also like, why are you even going if you're not going to be on the show floor at all? But whatever. I'm not in charge of their lives. But when I was going, I would like try to make a couple rounds at least. But aren't they there for media to talk and interact with others? I understand about anxiety, but I think that's the whole point of media batches. So people still do record stuff like to cover like media. So the whole point is not to talk to fans when you have a media badge. The point is to record the event and talk about the event. So they aren't really there to like talk to fans. They're there to like record event footage potentially and just like be there. Like really a media badge for a lot of events is just like to say you're going and hype and get other people to go to see you for like some of these bigger creators, you know? So yeah, they're not really there as like a meet and greet thing. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at these trolls because I feel like they're 12. I was doing more interesting things when I was 12. I had a whole Neopet like life as a 12-year-old. You know? How do you find adult fantasy that interests you? YouTube. For sure. Just find YouTube creators that have the same taste as you and they'll recommend you stuff. It's great. That's what I do because I'm lazy. And Twitter. Like I follow certain people on Twitter and then I get recommendations on Twitter too. It's Twitter and YouTube mostly. I'm gonna go in like 3 minutes because I'm getting tired in my throat from talking so constantly. I still love this glow though. Thank you for being here with me. I'll answer like 2 more questions. Which Christina Lauren books are you specifically looking at? I think I want to read Roomies. I want to read Once in a Blue Moon, although people don't seem to like it that much. Those are the 2 that I think I'm like are highest on the list. I'll kind of just work through all of them though, because they're fine, you know? They're kind of just like fun contemporary books with fluff and sass. So. And how did you get into romance novels? I have a lot of friends that read romance. So when I started going through like some anxiety, I was like, let's do it. And I had a friend, Jess from Jess Reads Books, I think is her channel name now, had sent me The Honeymooners. And I was like, I am picking this up. And then I just kept going from there because it was fun. So just kind of like any genre that you get into. You have like a gateway to it and then you just keep going. So that's it for me. I might jump on another time during the week this week. And hang out with you guys again because I didn't get the video that I wanted to get filmed for Instagram TV because I started filming this too late and I stayed on here for like over 2 hours. So yeah, thanks for joining. Hope you had fun. Hope this was interesting to you in your social downtime, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Bye.